Welcome to Half Full and a Cup of Joe with Joe Fulford, the show that's always overflowing with optimism and caffeine. Joe's got his game face on and his coffee cup full, ready to dive into the world of football. From the Florida Gators to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and beyond to college and NFL football, Joe's got the analysis, the insights, and the passion to get you pumped up and ready for the game. So sit back, relax, and fill up your cup with Joe. And now from West Des Moines, Iowa, here is Joe Fulford.
Hang on a second here. Okay. Well, that kind of got screwed up here, but we'll get it back going here in just a couple of minutes. You're sure the animal coming at you from the confines here of. Here we go. Can't start it without the song, people. Oh, yes! Can't get it going without the song, you know? Yes. Here we go, people. You know, it's exciting. It is tremendous. Because you know why? Because football is back. Better than ever, as people have been waiting for football to happen. It got started last week. It's continuing tonight. Packers, Steelers, Lions, and the Bengals. Other games that are going on. We're trying to keep you posted for those that are interested. We are back for another year of Half Full Cup of Joe. Coming at you from the confines of West Des Moines, Iowa. On a night where it's kind of overcast a little bit, but it's okay. Because for all the rain that takes place, there's football in the air. And it can't get much better than that. We are going to have a lot to talk about upcoming here as we get ready for the first week coming up. Gators are practicing. The Buccaneers are practicing. They get ready for their game tomorrow night against the New York Jets. We're going to talk a little bit about that here in just a little bit. We're going to talk a little about college football. Rob Brown of SEC Sidelines is supposed to join me here in just a minute. Where's that sorry dog at? See where he's at. He's supposed to be joining me here in just a few minutes here. And we'll get going with a lot of things. And of course, and as we said, there's a lot of things that's going on. College football practices are heating up now. The Gators are in full swing as they get ready under the new regime of John Summerall. A new era, the dawning of a new era, the dawning of a new breath of fresh air. As maybe you, hang on just a minute. Let's see here. Hang on just a second here. Just a minute. They're coming. Yeah, Von Brown is standing by in the room. Let's see here. StreamYard has done some things differently, so I don't know what's going on. Let's see here. We'll get Rob Brown in, but yeah, it's been a breath of fresh air, to see John Summerall, the new head coach of the Fighting Florida Gators. And okay, yeah. And when you really stop and you think about it, everything that's happened with this team, everything that's happened over the past 4 to 5, maybe longer, seeing the things that have transpired, seeing the things that have just been decimated, with this team, you know, and you look at it and you think to yourself, when is um when is it when is um let's see, when are we going to see change? You know, hang on a second here, folks. Um, yeah, I mean, it's like, when are we going to see a change? When are we going to see some good things happen with the Florida Gators? By now, you know that they have a new team. They have a new coach. It is a new it is a new beginning for this club, this school. And as you travel through the off season, you have seen this guy interview after interview after interview, and the more you hear this guy, the more that you like him, and the more you say to yourself, "This is the man for the Florida Gators." Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. You know what's even more amazing? It's people in the know that understand exactly what I'm talking about. Men like Lauren Meadows, who's traveling, by the way, tonight, the legendary Buddy Martin. But the man that knows things, the man that sees all and knows all before you can even say it, the only man in the SEC that's eaten 4 large pizzas in 4 straight days and never gone to the hospital. The man is amazing. The man is incomparable. Don't even know what that word means, but I like it anyways. Ladies and gentlemen, from SEC sidelines, the man, the myth, and certainly not a legend, Bob Brown, joining us.
Hey,
I know. Wait. Have a backwards hat on, and I got to have a backwards hat on.
man, I've been cleaning. I've been cleaning all day long over here at the house. Taking off a week for vacation. And
there you go, man.
And we're going to be back on next week. But I'm telling you, Joe, I've been listening and watching what's going on with Jaden Daniels. This guy, I mean, I would say shame on him, but you know what? You need guys like him to make NIL and all this stuff get more under control. He's going to alienate more people than anything I've ever seen at LSU.
All right, let's do okay. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. I am so glad you brought that up because I was going to talk about it a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Now, for those that don't know what we're talking about here, Jaden Daniels, former quarterback with the LSU Fighting Tigers, got drafted by the Washington Commanders. Of course, by now they had to change head coaching. Lane Kiffin goes in and takes over LSU. Well, Jaden Daniels had an NIL deal, and his uniform. I guess Jaden Daniels thought it was going to be retired. I don't know why he got that idea, but anyways, a guy by the name of DJ Pickett picks up the uniform. Okay, that's fine. I mean that happens all the time. With Jaden Daniels is upset because he figures that his name, image, and likeness is being used by a different person. And you know what? I feel for Jaden Daniels because you know what, Rob? It's kind of ironic that happened because today, I swear to you, I got hacked. But with my credit card, I got hacked. Okay, I'm not going to go into all the details, but some idiot decided that they want to try and hack my account and use $1,200 to pay for a concert in Las Vegas with my money. Yeah. Fortunately, I caught it. Okay, and it's being taken care of through StubHub. And by the way, thanks to fine people at StubHub for helping me with this. But still, I understand what Jaden Daniels is really talking about, you know? Jeez.
Well, I mean, I've been hacked, too, and it's a pain in the butt for all your auto debits that you have, like SiriusXM, that come from that particular debit card. But what Jaden Daniels is, some clown in his circle has said, hey, here's another way for you to make money. But trying to claim that LSU can't use it, he's not going to win. I mean, he's all he's doing is just alienating the LSU fan base. And you know what? One day he's going to be through playing NFL football. And he may or may not have done a good job of managing his money. And by doing this, he won't be able to go back and tap in and be a ring knocker with the LSU alumni base because he has pissed them off and alienated them. He's a living brain donor is what Jaden Daniels is. He's the quarterback for the Redskins. Can he be happy with that? I mean, you know what?
Here's what I don't. Here's what I don't understand. By the way, James Ludeman, our good friend, posted and says questions LSU. Yeah. And then he goes on for to say, I don't feel for him. He's a crybaby. And also, by the way, thanks to Keenan Kraft watching my show tonight here in West Des Moines, Iowa. I mean, look, you've left LSU. You're going to the NFL. Yeah. Okay. What is DJ Pickett going to do to use your name, image, and likeness? Tell me. Yeah. I mean, am I missing something here? Am I being an idiot? Am I showing my gator intelligence? Okay, let's not go that far. But you know what I'm saying, but you know exactly what I'm saying here. I mean,
Florida doesn't retire numbers, I don't think.
To my knowledge, I want to say Tebow's number got retired, but I can't confirm that. If somebody
I don't think they do. I mean, you look there. There's a reason somebody, some crazy Uncle Curly or whatever, has advised, or his advisor, but his agent most likely did not, because he probably told him, I wouldn't do this. You're a deity at LSU. Now look, he won it when it was a beauty contest. LSU had a terrible team. They had the worst, top 5 worst defenses in school history when Jaden Daniels won the Heisman. He has a great rookie year with the Redskins. Okay? And now he goes and does this. And you know what's sad? There will be copycats. There will be other people who try this stuff. But they're all going to fall hard, and they're not going to succeed. The universities, and I'm on a great show on the Zinger 100.9 up in Shelbyville, Tennessee with James Ludeman and Jamie Norton Sunday nights at 7 to 9 p.m.
Yeah, it's a great show.
It's a great show. I love local radio, and I love podcasting.
Yeah, I
love
too.
it. People like you and James and Jamie, and they also promote tremendous amount of the high school sports in the mid-state of Tennessee. He sent me a text today and said, hey, great talking point for Sunday night when we're on the show. I go say, we're taking off this week. But this is a terrible move by Jaden Daniels. And the LSU people, Joe Burrow walks down the street. Everyone knows him. Jaden Daniels, he's going to be needing to wear a mask after this. This is a dumb move on his part. And it shows, look, greed is good in a lot of ways. But when it comes to this is just being absolutely, pigs get fat and hogs get slaughtered. He is a hog.
Here's what I don't understand. By the way, he's Rob Brown. You're surely the animal here on a Half-Full Cup of Joe season debut. We welcome your comments in the chat room. Let us know where you're watching from. We like to know that as well. Why does it matter? I mean, that when you leave, somebody else is going to get that number. And also, by the way, just to let you know, I looked that up about Florida. They have retired on two numbers.
Okay.
Number 11 and number 55. 11 belonged to Sprayer, but Sprayer wanted that unretired. 55, of course, was for Brandon Spikes. I don't know if that ever got unretired. So, I mean, it's like, you know, I mean, I don't get it. I don't know why he even wants to even make I'm trying to do something real quick. I apologize. I don't know why he would even want to come out with this today. Doesn't make any sense. It does. Nobody really cares about your NIL, except maybe for James Daniels and trying to make money. What the hell why the hell should anybody care?
Well, here's what the danger
I don't know.
is. All across America, if he gets away with it, you're going to have a lot of other people try it. But it's got to be shot down, nipped in the bud. Barney Fife was right. Nip it in the bud, because there's going to be a lot of players on a lot of teams, and you're not going to have any jerseys. That they don't think these things through. You look at if you could have your jersey retired, but if you had a stud recruit that your school, you picked the school, was recruiting, and if he said he wanted to wear your number and you gave the school permission, they could do that.
Here's something that Ryan Clark posted on X. This was earlier today, and I'm going to briefly read some of this if you don't mind. The Daniels camp understands that the number 5 jersey is not retired at LSU, nor have they ever asked it to be. The cease and desist is not about the number itself or about DJ Pickett. It's about respect and the process by which that number was ultimately given out. So if you're going by that statement, is he more upset with the NIL, or is he upset with the fact that it went to a different person? I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? I mean, you read that, you hear that, you know, from Ryan Clark's perspective of things. I mean, if it's that, I mean, it seems to me that that's what it's about, that the number went to a different person than the guy that he wanted to go to. Who cares? I don't get it. Am I wrong on this?
No, you're not. And they need to get over themselves. That's the reality. Because you can't claim what I could see this happening. And when I was in college, we used to ask this question: why can't these players make money of all these people buying their jerseys? And now you've got, in July of 21, you've got this NIL situation. And they're making all this money. I mean, you've got guys making 5, 6, 7, 8 million. And that's, guys, you used to be worried about guys going pro after 3 years. Not anymore. Trinidad Chambliss, Ole Miss's quarterback, could have gone pro. He might have been a mid-round pick last year. Or Quinn Ewers. Quinn Ewers went after 7th round, $800,000 contract. He was offered between $6 and $8 million to stay in college and transfer from Texas. You think he doesn't have some buyer's remorse?
Second thoughts about that? I mean, yeah. And look at what Quinn Ewers is doing. I don't know. You mentioned it. You mentioned his name tonight. It's like, that's the first time I've heard that name in about a year or so. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the guy's so irrelevant. He's Rob Brown. You're surely the animal. This edition of Half Full and Cup of Joe. Excuse me. Boy, there's been a lot that's happened during this off season. Of course, the summer ordeal, all that happening. I'm going to get into that in a little bit. But all this talk now, 9-game schedule. Now we got talk of the SEC possibly leaving the NCAA. For what reason? I have no idea. I mean, Rob, please make it sense for me, because I'm really truthfully, I'm out the loop on some of this.
Well, first, the SEC is not going to leave the NCAA.
No.
It's just
no.
I think Greg Sankey's saying that to give the conference leverage, but there are a lot of people, and I talked to all 16 schools and cover them all on sidelines.live. Going to be launching our website here in the next couple of weeks. And you can watch us live, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. And we put reels out everywhere. Here's what I'm hearing. Sankey did it for leverage. SEC's not leaving the NCAA. Also, you're hearing a lot of talk that Greg Petiti, commissioner of the Big Ten, there was a lot of pressure on Greg Sankey to go push the SEC to a 9-game schedule. If you're an SEC fan, you better get comfortable with 9-3 going to the college football playoff. You might have 4 SEC teams this year make it, 3 or 4 Big Ten. But I think Greg Sankey, he's been the smartest man in the room for a while. But right now, I mean, let's be completely transparent. The SEC, in all likelihood, was doing more aggressive recruiting for decades than any other conferences in America. So now that guy that used to be your second or third team linebacker, defensive back, offensive lineman, he ain't around anymore. He's gone in the portal, and he's starting lining up across the line of scrimmage from you at SMU or Indiana, or he is at Penn State or wherever. So number 2, Indiana's got 850,000 living alumni, largest alumni base in America. If each one of them gave 20, if each one of them gave $20, how much is that going to be?
Indiana?
Indiana's got the largest alumni base in the country. Florida's a little over 500,000. Most of the SEC schools are 300 or less. It's just a law of large numbers. That's what this is. But what's going on in college football is you got to have Jaden Daniels do this. You got to have more Jaden Rashada crash and burns to put NIL in its place. On the surface, it's great that the players get played. Joe, if you're a junior at the University of Florida and you're a pre-med major, let's say you're chemistry or biology, you can't go out on the concourse in between classes on the campus of the University of Florida and practice medicine because you're in a pre-med program. Most people that you and I know, orthopedic surgeon, heart surgeon, neuro, 4 years undergrad, 4 years medical school, that's 8, 5 years residency, 1 year fellowship, that's 14. So by the time you're 32, 33 years old, you got $400,000 or $500,000 worth of student loan debt. You finally start making some money as a doctor. Because I have a lot of family members and friends that are doctors. My niece just married. She's a nurse. He's a pharmacist, and he's in med school at Washington University in St. Louis. You're making less than $50,000 a year when you're a resident, and you're working like a rented mule. This NIL, these 18, 19-year-old kids, nobody in the business world pays people before they've done the work. And you wonder why we've got these malcontented, spoiled brats that were born on third base and think they hit a triple. That's what we've got. Now, look, I'm a capitalist to the core, but you got to pay your dues. And when you've got a locker room full of guys that are just there for the check and they don't care about the laundry, the jersey, you got problems. The reason Kirby Smart and Georgia is the king of the SEC, very simple. They're mostly homegrown. They dip into the portal a little bit. And let's face it, guys have been transferring since the beginning of time. But Kirby gets guys that might want to transfer, and he says, look, you can go, grass isn't always greener across the street. But what Kirby says is right. You stay here and let us develop you at Georgia, you're going to most likely get to the league. And even as a second teamer, Georgia's got a lot of guys that weren't necessarily starters that are playing in the NFL. I talked to Greg McElroy, played at Alabama. He was a guest at the Touchdown Club in Memphis Monday. He talked about, I had the worst game ever by a quarterback, 11 interceptions. And he said, you know what? I only played 3 years, but I got my pension. And I know Greg. But what Greg McElroy was saying was, you don't get any reps as a backup quarterback in the NFL. And they put you in there, you don't know, come here from Sikkim. College, more of these guys are staying. The NFL is going to start feeling the squeeze because there's going to be a slowdown in the number of college guys going to the NFL. Quinn Ewers, 7th-round draft pick. That's less than $800,000 contract. He could have stayed again, But Texas pushed him out. And you know what Steve Sarkisian does every year? He underwhelms the talent that he has. I've got Georgia playing Ole Miss for the SEC championship.
Yeah.
It's Georgia. Yeah. Kirby has the best program in the SEC in the country. He's the best coach because, contrary to popular belief, you cannot hug these kids up and make them better. You got to be tough on them. Look at the coaches who did anything in the CFP last year. Kirby Smart, Pete Golding, Kurt Signetti, all right, Mario Cristobal. What do they all have in common? They're part of the Nick Saban coaching tree. Not regarded as Mr. Nice Guy, but he gets results. Dan Lanning.
And plus guys that have gone to the college football national championship, like what happened last year.
Ryan Day.
I can see a Georgia Ole Miss SEC matchup. Okay, look, I'm a Florida Gator. I bleed my boys orange and blue. You know
how much I love John Summerall. I love that.
Let me tell you something. Let's go. Wait, switch. Wait, okay. Drink it. Show the logo.
I wish they were a sponsor.
Well, no. They're not a sponsor. The reason why I'm bringing that up right now is because here in Urbandale, Iowa, they're going to try and build a Buc-ee's here.
Ooh.
They're going to try. I know. I've been to Buc-ee's. I've seen it before, and I think it's just fantastic. So they got some hurdles to cross over, but hopefully they can try and get the Buc-ee's here because it is tremendous. And folks, if you never visited Buc-ee's, I encourage you to visit it because you will be amazed. With Rob Brown, usually the animal, on this edition of Half Full and Cup of Joe. Let's get back to John Summerall. By now we know how it happened and everything, how Lane Kiffin decided not to go to Florida. I say that thank God, because I think the Florida Gators have finally hit the home run with John Summerall. Bob, when you look at everything that's going on in the offseason, Summerall, while he's been hard at work recruiting players, putting together a first-class coaching staff, he has done a lot of interviews. And the more that you hear John Summerall, the more that you say that you think the good Lord above that the LK man is not here in Florida.
Well, I remember getting texts from coaches that I know anonymously. There were some big attorneys, a big firm out of Orlando that I believe was involved in putting up money for Lane Kiffin. And I had a coach that was giving me good information, and I gave Brendan and Buddy, the GatorBetMedia.com information. We talked about it on the show. Frank Duffy, been on our show a long time, big LSU guy. 2 weeks before it was official, said, I'm going to go out on a limb and guarantee 100% Lane Kiffin goes to LSU. And Frank was right. You look at John Summerall. That guy's father died Thursday night before they played Ole Miss in the CFP.
I saw that. Yeah.
And John's from Huntsville. I have a good friend, John Hartwell, longtime AD. He's now with GMC Sports Architecture in Birmingham. He's known John and that family since high school. John is from Huntsville, the Rocket City. John Summerall was the coach at Auburn until he wasn't, until they tried to tell him who to hire. You don't do that to an alpha male like him. You know what John Summerall said? I got to hire my people, because if the ship goes down, by God, it's going down with my people. John Summerall's wife is an Auburn graduate. John Summerall won at Troy. He won at Tulane. And you know what you find out about him? Of every kid that was committed to Tulane, he got him to stay at Tulane. And he did. And Florida had 16 commitments when he got the job. 14 of them ended up signing with Florida. Yeah. He loves Tulane. He loves Troy. You know what he said? He's what you want.
And to take that one step further, There were players at Tulane who wanted to come to Florida, but someone said, "No, I'm not doing that. You signed a contract with Tulane. We want you to stay at Tulane because that's where we want you to be." I mean, he was not going to bring Tulane players over to Florida because he had an ethical purpose. He had ethics. He knew exactly what was right and what was wrong. And to go back further on the John Summerall deal, as you said, his mom had died, or his dad had died.
Father, yeah.
Okay, his father had died. He went to the funeral. The following day, he took the entire family down to Jaden Ball's house to spend Christmas Eve with him. The entire family.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about him. We're not talking about him and his wife. He brought him, the wife, the kids, and the dog. The dog. I mean, brought him down to meet with Jaden Ball to convince him to stay. And, I think in the back of Ball's mind, I think he was going to stay anyways. But Ball went down to show that commitment that he needed him to stay. And with the other guys that he's gotten, with Eric Philo, Tramel Jones, 1-2 quarterback punch, who I thought at the time was not a very good quarterback in Tramel Jones, but hearing everything I'm hearing out of the training camp, he's looking very good. Summerall and company they're putting a team together. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah.
I mean, and the more I hear John Summerall, the more I fall in love with the guy. And the more that you fall in love with the guy, the more you want to be careful. But at the same time, you say to yourself, the future is bright at the University of Florida. We know what we have. We know what we want. And, he's hired a first class staff. He's got a great strength and conditioning coach in Rusty Witt. And did you see the transformation? Did you hear about the transformation of some of the players that was weightlifting?
Well, bottom line is that strength coach spends more time, and I've seen some of the weight gains, but the strength and conditioning coach spends more time with the players than anyone. And if you get that hire wrong, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's gonna kill you.
Oh, I know. I know. I mean, he went over some of the numbers, and it was just amazing. It just amazed me how these kids had really worked up their bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like
you've got Jaden Ball as your alpha in that room. See, and you know what you're going to see this year? There's a lot of good receivers in the SEC.
Oh, yes.
But you go back and look at any schools. If you give up 400 or more yards passing in a game, and it doesn't happen that often, there's a lot of schools that have never, ever lost a game when they gave up 400 or more yards passing. Now, if you give up 400 or more yards rushing, you probably don't win anything.
No.
Here's another interesting stat. Look at the number of times that how few games you lose throughout your history if you score 30 or more points. John Summerall understands, and there's a lot of familiarity. Buster Faulkner and Aaron.
I love Buster. I love Buster.
Eric Singleton was at Georgia Tech. Then he went to Auburn last year, and they had a third straight year of deer in the headlights at quarterback. Jackson Arnold. I mean, he looks like he got a lobotomy before the season. But, I mean, I've never seen anything like it. Singleton will elevate Florida immediately. So will Marcus Davis. Marcus is from Daytona Beach. I think he went to Seabreeze High School, the Sand Crabs, if I'm not mistaken. I'll just tell you right now, Summerall, you got to have a guy like him. And if you can't handle being coached hard, he'll hit the portal button for you. But you typically find that out when you're recruiting them. But I do like Brad White as a defensive coordinator at Florida.
Yes, I do. Yeah. Phil Trotwine.
Line. Yeah.
How about Phil Trotwine, the offensive line coach?
God.
And
a great recruiter too.
and a great recruiter. But you know what? You look at Troutwine. He looks like he's like 175 all wet. He doesn't look
Yes.
that. He doesn't look like he's that big of a guy. But tells you how much weight he has lost.
Yeah.
The man knows about offensive lines. He knows how to recruit. Look what he's done in getting some of the guys. I mean, he has. There's no mistake about it. He, for someone company, they have a first class, I think, coaching staff, a first class recruiting staff. From my understanding, they lost Savannah Guthrie, who was not Savannah Guthrie, Savannah Bailey, who was a recruiter. I don't know what the story is on that, but Katie Decker is still there, and I'm hoping to see her when I go to Missouri in October to see the Gators take on Missouri. So I'm all pumped up about that. I got to tell you a funny story about that sometime, but yeah, I mean I'm just pumped up about what the Florida Gators are going to do.
Well, you should be. And I like an interview I saw with Marty and McGee with John Summerall.
I saw that.
Said, what do you see our disadvantages are? He goes, well, you hadn't won a lot of games. Florida has to fight another thing, too. There are 23 million people and growing every day that live in the state of Florida.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been dealing with people, my clients over 35-year career as a financial advisor. Got a lot of them in Florida. But you know what they all have in common? None of them are from Florida, but they live in Florida.
No.
And their money is going back home to Penn State or Auburn or Texas or Michigan or Notre Dame or Ohio State. Florida has to figure out a way to incentivize these people that move to Florida, to Johns Island and Naples and Palm Beach and whatever, that as Florida residents, they get some sort of big tax break if they give to Gator or Seminole or Hurricane NIL. And by the way,
keep the money in the state.
Yeah. You talk about Trotwine, the offensive line coach, who was a Gator himself and a great recruiter. Fly. Keep this in mind. He's a little guy. Look at the guy who is the offensive line coach at Miami. He's like 5'2". And look at the offensive line they got down there. Miami, they're a PITA. PITA. They're a pain in the ass. They ain't going anywhere.
They are.
They ain't going anywhere. Mario Cristobal has solved the riddle. And for the third straight year, there was Cam Ward, Carson Beck, and now Darian Mensah, who started at Tulane, went to Duke, and now he's at Miami. They're going to be right back. I've got Miami and Georgia playing for the CFP National Championship this year. That's
really?
I got Georgia playing Ole Miss. My top 5 SEC schools are Georgia, Ole Miss, Texas, Texas A&M, and Oklahoma. Brent Venables is the best defensive coordinator in college football right now. But keep this in mind. The best one is Jeremy Pruitt. And he's you know where he is now, don't you? 2 weeks ago, they announced it. He's now, quote, an analyst with Lane Kiffin at LSU. There are two great defensive in the last 15 years. The number 1 ranked defensive coordinator from scoring efficiency, best defensive numbers. Dave Bartu, CFB Matrix, gives us these numbers on our Monday show. It's Kirby Smart, okay? Now, you know who the best coach? Now, at Alabama, Kirby Smart was notorious. People would say he would wait till halftime to adjust. The best defensive coordinator in college football adjusting in real time is Jeremy Pruitt.
But wait a minute, though. Wasn't Jeremy Pruitt formerly with Tennessee?
He was the head coach there, and then he got put in timeout for being naughty. And now he was coaching over in Alabama some high school ball. He's also been ranked the number 1 recruiter in America several times. And he's the best defensive coordinator. Him and Brent Venables are the top 2 in the country. It's Kirby, Brent Venables, and
I thought that Pruitt was at Georgia for a little. I thought Pruitt
was at Georgia. You remember what he Remember what he did at Georgia?
No.
He called him out when Rick was there, said, y'all aren't tough enough. And David Pollock and Aaron Murray and other dog players came out after Jeremy. But They changed coaches. They brought in Kirby. They were winning 10 or 11 games every year with Mark Richt, a very nice guy. You know what? Let's go. I love Richt. But you know what? I'm not a go along to get along person. All right?
Yeah.
I don't really care.
No.
I'm going to tell you what I think. Does this dress make me look fat? You betcha. Sound like a Jared Lundegaard in Fargo. But, I mean, that's what we've got right now. We're going to get Shep Proudfoot on here in a minute to vouch for us all from Fargo. But I'm telling you, what LSU, this is scary. Top 5 coaches in America. I've got Kirby Smart, Kurt Signetti, Lane Kiffin, Ryan Day, Marcus Freeman, Dan Lanning. That's my top 6. Okay.
Yeah.
I just, John Summerall.
Here's the thing about
he's the best hire anyone in the SEC made this year.
Here's what I think. I think I'll go along with you on those top 6. I think I agree with you in general. But and maybe I'm shooting the moon on this. But as Jimmy Baker Native Pratt says about Miami, there are gypsy tramps and thieves. I love it. I mean, he's right. You know.
I Animal. Who sang that song? Who made it very popular?
I
Come
must say
Cher.
Yeah,
Gypsies,
okay.
tramps, and thieves.
Yeah, I thought so. Yeah, I thought about that. So then the sorry dog has to say, "Go Tigers." I don't know where he thinks he's going to come. I don't know where he thinks he gets that information. But no, I think that. Let me take that off real quick. I think you're right in general, but. There's just something about someone and what he's doing with this Florida Gator team that makes me say to myself, they're going to surprise a few people this year.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be surprised if by the time they get to Georgia, that they don't give Georgia a lot of fits. I mean, I know you think I'm crazy by saying all this,
not at all.
I just think, but I think that for the first time, I can go into Florida Gator season. And I can say very confidently that Florida is going to give Georgia everything they have. This is not going to be some 38-0 or 52-7 type of game. I think by the time they get to Florida, they're going to be well prepared. And Auburn, the third week, when they meet Auburn and who is it? Who's their head coach now? Who's their head coach?
Alex
Golis had the nerve to tell Florida to bring it on. I forget the exact quote.
Oh, what else is he supposed to say? I like that. That's fun.
Well, I did too. But it doesn't get up your crawl a little bit if you're getting. You hear that?
Oh no! I mean, look, those guys all know each other. Summerall. I remember being at the Tulane-Memphis game last year. I was about 10 feet off the field, watching John Summerall and Ryan Silverfield talk before the game. A couple of things you notice. I mean, and I've had Coach Silverfield on the show, I guess 3 times. A couple of things you want to know about him and Summerall. They went and talked to every single player on the field in warmups. I got there 2 hours before the game. Talked to every coach, and everyone came up and would introduce themselves to both of them because they know these guys are rising stars, okay?
Right.
So a couple other things. I could hear Summerall talking. I mean, during the whole game, I was right there on the 44-yard line. Just remember this. The best coaches, you cannot hug these guys up. You cannot do it. Pete Cordelli, who's on our show Mondays with Ellis Johnson and Dave Bartu, Pete played for Lou Holtz, coached with him 14 years. One of the things he said, remember Todd Graham, the coach at Tulsa?
Yeah. No, but go ahead.
Okay. He had 4 coaches on that staff under 28 years of age. They said, go out and hug these guys up. Well, that's where you got Gus Malzahn, who trained Mike Norvell as a GA at Tulsa. That's where you got, I mean, nothing against Todd Graham, but this is what happened. Hugh Freeze, Gus Malzahn, Art Briles, Chad Morris, they all came from that tree. And if you look at the alpha coaches, the ones that will light you up and get on your ass and coach you hard, John Summerall, Alex Golish, Ryan Silverfield, Will Stein, we're going to win at Kentucky because of me. Well, finish that statement and say, because I'm going to give you everything you need.
Yeah.
I don't know that it's okay to say, bring it on. You know, you don't want your coach to be some wallflower. John Summerall.
No. I
I
just seen the rookie head coach at a new school has the gall to say,
Oh, it's
bring
fun.
it on.
Those guys are friends. Funny. They know each other. You know what? I'll be there September 19th. I'm excited about renewing that rivalry. I love it.
They had a forum. Summerall was there, and several other coaches were there, and I think one of the coaches made some snarl remark at Summerall, and Summerall kind of laughed it off, but somebody say he was kind of pissed about it. I'm going to tell you something. Go to SEC Media. Let's go to SEC Media Days. Okay, let's go to SEC Media Days. Summerall is doing his presser, and he's talking. And I guess somebody left his phone by the chair. Leaves his phone by the chair, and someone has the gall to say, "You better be lucky you're not in one of my meetings." I swear to God, if I had a board or something, I'd be throwing it at you until you get the hell out of my meeting room.
I told you.
And then it happened at another press conference, and someone jokingly got on. He didn't get on to the guy, but he jokingly said, "Man, I wish I had my chalkboard again." I mean, it was great.
Well, you love it. I told you how small Alex Mirabal is regarded as the best offensive line coach in college football. Yeah. And Mario Cristobal, played at Miami 86-90. There's a picture of him next to Cristobal on the sidelines last year. See that little guy?
Hold it up a minute. Wow.
Okay.
Wow, that's big. That's huge.
Yeah. So one thing about Mario, he was at Alabama for 4 years and twice was named National Recruiter of the Year.
Oh,
John Summerall. You know another thing I like about John Summerall? Someone said, "Why don't you bring all your coaches everywhere you go?" And, he's got that raspy drill instructor voice. He said, "Look, not everybody's a good fit. Somebody that's a good fit with me at Troy might not fit in at New Orleans. Maybe they don't like shrimp and gumbo and grits and grillade. And then guys at Tulane, they didn't want to leave New Orleans. They like that lifestyle. They don't want to go to Gainesville." This is what Florida, as an outsider, I've been to games there. I've been down there a lot. That is not their fan base at Florida is a lot like the fan bases at Georgia and Auburn and Alabama and LSU and Tennessee. A lot of just small towns. A lot of small towns in Florida. A lot of farming communities.
Yeah.
I think it's the 5th or 6th largest cattle producing state in America is Florida. No one talks about that. But you know what the Florida fans do? They pack the swamp every week, every year, no matter what. And you talk about Florida. They only won 4 games last year. If you're an Auburn fan, in 2012, when the team just shut down on Chiswick, you went 3-9. You lost every SEC game. You brought Gus back the next year, and you were within one play of winning the national championship. Okay? You went from 3-9 to 12-2. Kelvin Benjamin caught that pass there for Florida State with 13 seconds left. Florida's roster, you know where they rank on the blue chip index? That's a measure of 4- and 5-star players in every 4-year cycle. Florida's like 10th best roster in the country.
Yeah.
And you get
a bad coach. That's what I'm saying. And just like you said, it's a 10th best roster in the country. And combine that with the coaching staff that it has.
Yeah.
That's what I said to myself, Bob. I think that this is a team that could surprise a lot of people. I'm not saying they're going to win the SEC. I don't expect them to win the SEC.
Well, don't count it out.
But don't count it out. Don't dismiss this Florida Gator team. Yeah. That's why I said the more they play, and the more you watch these kids play, one of the things I'm kind of upset that the one thing that I get upset about is the fact that there's a lot of people that are underrating the Florida Gators, but I will say On3.com came out with their top 25. They have the Gators ranked as the 25th team in the country, which tells you something.
Well, you know what? Think about Florida. They're always going to have talent.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a game in the line of scrimmage league, SEC. College football, period. If you can't knock people off their ass and move the ball, you're not going to win.
No.
The problem,
No.
I made a terrible mistake last year using all my little charts and graphs I used. I had Florida to win 9 or 10.
I know.
But you know what we didn't realize? Pete Cordelli said it on our show last summer. And I listened to him. He said, look, I'm going to tell y'all something. He said, this was interesting. He said, DJ Lagway injured himself this summer in the weight room rehab. And no one knew that. I remember Brendan goes, did you hear what he just said? And he wasn't kidding.
No.
You know what happened to DJ Lagway? He's just a little bit too laid back. Billy Napier, a little bit too laid back. You got to be like Urban Meyer. You got to be like Steve Spurrier at Florida. That's how you win. You don't win hugging them up.
And then here's the thing. Lagway comes out and criticizes the Florida Gator athletic training that they didn't do their jobs, and we try to get the leg, get the injury up to par and kind of blame them. But DJ's the one that caused the injury, and somebody that I heard back last year was talking. I won't say who it was. Made a point that he saw a couple of the Florida Gator practices, and he said they knew them when they played against South Florida. They were going to get their butts beat because this was not a team that was ready. When you look at these highlight films, when you look at some all being mic'd up, and you see these practice clips, this is a Gator team that's hungry, and that's why I say that I think that this could be one of the more surprising teams in this year in college football. Jimmy Baconator Pratt states, haven't heard that name in years, talking about Gene Chizik. Gene Chizik, by the way, Jimmy, he is on the SEC network. He's going to be in the studio this year. Am I right on that? He's going to be in the studio with...
he is. He's been on all summer. He's from Clearwater, Florida.
Yes, he is. Yeah. My where I was born. Yeah, he's going to be Chizik. It's going to be in the studio and he was there before he took the job with Florida State. I don't know what happened.
No, he went. No, Chizik went to North Carolina when Larry Fedora was.
Oh, that's right. Yeah,
and still lived in Auburn. He would commute from Auburn, but here's the thing: Chizik was a walk-on football player at Florida.
Oh. I knew he played Florida. Didn't know that he was a walk-on. Who was the guy that went to Florida State?
Gus Malzahn.
Gus Malzahn, yeah.
And now he's at the Auburn retirement community known as Lake Martin, Alabama, counting his money with the worst coach in Auburn history, Hugh Freeze. Yeah, they're both back in Auburn.
What? Yeah. He's not there anymore?
No, he left. Look, with Gus Malzahn's offense, after 3 or 4 games, people figured that out. That thing is old. It's been around 20 years. Remember?
Oh yeah. I didn't know. I didn't know that. I didn't know that Malzahn left.
Yeah. Here's an interesting stat I'm gonna throw at you.
Go.
This past season were the lowest offensive stats in 2 categories: offensive yards per game, 383.6, and points per game, 27.6, are the lowest in 15 years. Defenses have caught up with the offenses. You're going to see a return to the ground game, the running game this year. Smash mouth football is making its way back. I promise you.
Wow.
If you don't have those guys, those big uglies out there with their shirt tails hanging out, blood running down their faces, broken knuckles out there like a bunch of bullfighters, you don't stand a chance in today's world. People tried to go woke, and they tried to go weak, and they tried to go. You cannot win with a beta coach mentality in today's world. If you're not tough, you will be eaten. If you look like food, you will be eaten. It's over. Those days are over. Your days of having soft, let's go hug them up in football, which is what a lot of people wanted, is over. We're going back to it's men versus boys. And that's what John Summerall is doing at Florida. He's going to make Florida relevant immediately by his mentality. He's won at Troy both years, played for the conference championship. 2 years at Tulane, played for the conference championship. It's called portability of success. I love the guy. I think he's the best hire in the SEC.
I have no doubt about it. Back to Chiswick for just a second, as Jimmy Baker.
He did coach at Iowa State.
He did coach it. He did coach at Iowa State. I didn't know that. And what was funny about that story is that I was working when I first got into Iowa. I was working in a call center, and a friend of mine, who was an Iowa State grad, he also happened to be Auburn fan.
Yeah.
And we talked about Gene Chiswick, and he told me that he coached at Alabama. I mean, I was
Auburn. Yeah.
I didn't know that. I never knew that till that was years ago.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Chiswick was brought into Auburn 02, 3, and 4, and led them to the national championship in 04. Went to Texas 05 and 06. 07, 08 Iowa State. He was 5-19. His second year at Auburn, he wins a national championship. Wrote a book about how great he was, and they fell apart. I love the guy. I love the guy, but
you talk about genuine people. I think
I love him.
I do too. If I ever got a chance to meet him, I would want to.
I'll tell you the guy, John Summerall. John Summerall, I would compare him to Will Rogers. Will Rogers. If you don't like John Summerall, you don't like tough people. He is the guy.
He's tough, but he's fair. I think he's tough but fair.
Yeah, he's fair. But Florida is a program. It is the old sleeping giant. Look, remember the old TV show My Three Sons?
Oh yeah.
Remember Uncle Charlie? He cooked some really bad food. But you could take Gordon Ramsay or Wolfgang Puck and put him in the same kitchen. Who's going to do better? It's all who's cooking the food. I duck hunt. I hunt a lot. People go, I got this $5,000 Satori over and under shotgun, blah, blah, blah. It ain't the arrow. It's the Indian. It doesn't matter what you do. It's John Summerall. What I think is so great about him is he connects with his players. He's going to coach them hard. If you don't coach these kids hard, they don't love you. That they don't think that you love them. And I think a lot of people have fallen for this, thing about you got to be nice with them. You cannot hug them up. You got to be tough on them. I got 4 kids. They tell me, Dad, I thought you were sadistic and cruel when I was a kid, but you were right. It's tough. Life's tough enough, but when you're lazy and stupid, it's even tougher, isn't it, Joe?
No, yeah. I mean,
you're not stupid, but you got to look. Here I go. Here, Exhibit A, one more time. You go in here and you look at the offensive line coach. There, look at him. Little guy, 5'2", 5'2", and he's the best offensive line coach in America. 5'2".
Yeah.
He's the best.
It's not about the height. It's about the heart, I think. Yeah. And I think it matters.
Are you fired up for college football?
I can tell you are, no doubt about it. I'm ready.
Fired up.
And was it,
I don't mean to be talking. I'm so glad to be back on your show. I love being on your show. Love it.
And I appreciate that. Speaking of Iowa State, they have they're in the kind of same position as Florida is. They have a new head coach, as Matt Campbell took off and went to Penn State.
Yep.
I kind of was confused by that move, but by the same token, I can understand what Matt Campbell is doing. I just don't know if Penn State's the right fit for him.
Well, he took 17 Iowa State players to Happy Valley with him, but Matt Campbell did about all you can do at Iowa State. He felt like, and Iowa State, Iowa. You know, there are not a lot of players in that state. Look at now he's at Penn State. That's the 8th best state in America for producing college talent. But Penn State's a national brand. I think he'll have success there. James Franklin wins a lot. He didn't win the games against the top 5 and the top 10 teams. I think I know I've got to go here.
Was he fired? Was he fired?
Yeah, James Franklin was fired last year.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
After they lost to the West Tennessee School for the Blind or something. It was a terrible loss. I know they lost to Northwestern.
Yeah.
They lost to Northwestern.
Yeah.
But what I really think's happening in college football is people, if you go soft, if you look like food, if you look like food, you'll be eating the soft deal. Well, don't be too tough on them. They'll hit the portal button. Let me hit it for you, son. You've got to find out who wants to win in practice. You know where you make your team? This is why we push you so hard in January and February and in the spring and those 5 a.m. workouts in July and August, so you can enjoy moments like this, holding up this championship trophy. That's where we're going in college football. It's all going back. This is throwback year. All this fun and gun, it's great, but defenses have caught up to it. Mm-hmm. So now what are you going to do? It's like musical chairs. Eventually, you ain't got a chair to sit in. You're going to get blown up. And I think Florida, Billy Napier is just low energy. It's just, I miscalculated. You know, Lauren and Buddy and Brendan and everybody said.
Everybody know.
The Utah game out there in 2023 when they couldn't count players on the field on punt returns, and they did it again and again. You know, here's my theory.
Someone even made a joke about that.
Yeah,
someone even made a joke about that. So you know,
well, you know what?
My shot at Napier. So
when you get beat, I heard a great speech after a game. The coach got up there and he said, "Look, as the old saying goes, time just ran out on you, and a damn thing you can do about it except go out there and lay your guts on the line again and again and again." He said, "You keep fighting like that, you keep scratching and clawing and believing like that, we're gonna win a lot of games here. Let's get on the bus and head home now." That's John Sumrall. Guys, he is the best coach because he understands the past, the present, and he knows. Why is Wayne Gretzky the greatest hockey player of all time? You're not the biggest. You're not the fastest or the strongest. You know what he told Roy Firestone? He goes, "I just go where I think the puck's going. I don't go where it is now." You got to think ahead. Why was Steve Spurrier the greatest? He was 3 or 4 plays ahead of everybody.
Exactly, yeah.
I love Steve Spurrier.
Oh, I do too. And what was nice about it, you know, when Sumrall first became the head coach at his introductory press conference, Sumrall was greeted by Danny Wuerffel. He was greeted by Steve Spurrier. And he was also greeted by Tim Tebow. And also Urban Meyer, who's back in the fold. And by the way, they're going to hold a special Urban Meyer is supposed to go into the Ring of Honor, so I think that I think that's really cool. Hey, I know you got to go. Hopefully, you can join me next week to talk a little bit more.
Joe. I love coming on your show.
But hang on,
Des Moines, Iowa.
There you go.
Des Moines.
But before I go, I want to express my condolences to you on the loss of your
my mom. Yep. Thank you so much.
And I didn't know about that at the time. Otherwise, I would have understood. But I want to thank you for coming on. I really do appreciate that. So
hey, she taught me to be resilient, and she's watching right now with my dad. And I'm gonna tell you what, you get me to 90 and 97 like him, still working out and riding the bike every day, having a cocktail. I am all about it. But I'm gonna tell you something, man. I love coming on your show anytime you want me to, because you know what? As I'm building up Sidelines.live and the deal, I ask a lot of people to come on. So I'm gonna tell you something.
If I didn't have to work in the morning when you're on, I would be more happy to join you.
No, I totally understand it. Here's what I've learned. You gotta give back. As you get your show bigger and my show gets bigger, there's gonna be some 25-year-old kid that's starting the show. If he asks me to come on and he's in Olathe, Kansas, I'm like, yeah, I'll come on.
Well, and I'm going to tell you something too. Speaking of trying to build it bigger, if you want to hang on just for a second, I have a special announcement to make. That's starting next week. I'm going to rebrand my show. It's going to be called Fourth and Fulford.
I love that.
Okay. And and if you get a chance, I'm going to send you some designs that somebody made up for me. And we couldn't quite get it done in time for this week, but hopefully next week we'll have it ready to go. and I'm going to send you some stuff, and hopefully you like that on Facebook. And we're going to be here every Thursday night, 7 p.m., except for the week of the Columbia game. We might do a Tuesday night show for that. Of course, you know why, because, I want to get ready for that game. Make no mistake about it.
Columbia, Missouri.
Columbia, Missouri, baby. Columbia, Missouri. Hey, Como. Not Kokomo, but Como. Yeah. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it. So you have a good one, and you're going to be on Buddy Martin next, or what?
What tonight? Not tonight. I will be. We took off this week vacation. Kind of just. I mean, look, I'll be back on next week with you, and I'll be back on there next week. I know, but I'm going to tell you something, Buddy. This guy he's a writer. What I love about him is he makes you think. He makes you think, and the writers typically are our best guests because they think about what they're saying because they've written it. But you know what makes your show special is you got passion, and that's a Latin word for to love something. And college football, you know what's great about this is we are now 23 days away from the start of college football season.
Look at that!
Yeah,
look at that!
Yeah,
Jimmy Pratt antagonizing me, saying "Go Missouri, go Tigers." I mean, can you believe him saying that?
It's called trolling.
It's called trolling.
Yeah.
You know.
Get
out of here! No, I'm kidding.
Look,
but hey, look, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a great season. Hop on next week.
I'll be ready.
More.
I will be ready, and I'm going to say there's a lot going on.
Quick. Yeah, a lot going on. Real quick. Anything that we're expecting for next week? Any news or anything off the field with college football? Anything happening about possible expansion of the playoffs? I mean. What are you hearing?
Here's what I'm hearing. The 2014 playoff is nothing more than a lobbying effort by the American Football Coaches Association. So 24 coaches can go and say, hey, we made the playoffs. But we all know this. If you're at a program like Alabama or Georgia or Ohio State, just making the playoffs isn't enough. You got to win the national championship, okay? Ole Miss fans are going to find out this year if they don't make the playoffs, and let's say they go 10-2, it's going to be a disappointing year. Once your mind expands from here up to here, it never goes back comfortably. Once you've eaten, if you grew up eating steaks at CK's coffee shop and then you go to Folks Folly or Ruth's Chris, you ain't ever going to be comfortable eating that dang sirloin thing with the whip marks on it, But the bottom line is 16's the number. Then you have 8 home-and-home games, no first-round buys. Anything above that is a delusion of quality.
I agree with, I could accept that concept. My only thing about 2014 is that if you put it to 2014, it gives these big teams like Notre Dame and Alabama, all these schools, they say to themselves, okay, we can skip a game and I have to win it and still get in, if you know what I'm saying. And,
The buys are terrible. First teams that have received a first-round bye in the 2 years we've had a 12-team playoff are collective 1-7. The only team that's won is Indiana. Kurt Signetti, call him what you want. The guy has the personality of a Russian execution guard. But you know what he says when people ask him about him? He goes, Google me. I win. Last name Signetti. Good night, everyone.
Thanks. Yes, sir. Thanks, buddy. Thanks a lot.
You, man. More than you know. Rob. See you next week.
Thank you, Rob Brown, joining me on this edition of Half Full and Cup of Joe. It's also the final edition of Half Full Cup of Joe because come next week, oh man, that lighting is bad. Hang on here. Let me get this on real quick. Okay, there we go. Because come next week, hopefully we are going to rebrand and do make it a different show. Call it Fourth and Fulford. Same stuff, Florida Gators, Buccaneers, but we're going to expand it and talk all things football. By all means, like Jimmy Baker, Native Pratt, and Keena Craft and company. You guys bring the passion. That's what I love. Bring the passion, and come next week. That's what we're going to do. Fourth and Fulford every Thursday night. 7 p.m. Central Time. Rob Brown will join me. Lauren Meadows will join me as well. And maybe a cast of characters, maybe even have Jimmy Pratt on, talk a little bit about Iowa football. Yeah, bye. Okay. Real quick. NFL football. Games are happening tonight. Steelers and the Packers preseason game, 7-6 for those that care. Bucks, Jets tomorrow night. Everything that I'm hearing is that this team is excited, ready to go. Ruben Bain, the first-round draft pick of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Some people are writing him as the defensive rookie of the year. The guy's looking amazing. Of course, we have the Baker Mayfield contract situation. We'll talk more about that next week and give you a little bit more understanding of what's happening with that situation. Also with the Vita Vea situation. There's not many true developments happening on that end. But more importantly, Buccaneer football is going to be back tomorrow night. And also, if you can catch the game on the radio, because we're going to have they're going to have a new play-by-play voice of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Tony Castriano. Don't know much about him, but he replaces Gene Deckerhoff, who retired at the end of the year. There'll also be a new sidelines guy. TJ Reeves is not going to be there as well. So whole new setup in the state of Florida. A new head coach for the Florida Gators. A new broadcasting team for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dave Moore will be there as well. It's going to be very interesting, and we're going to look forward to see it. I want to thank everybody who commented in the chat room. Love the passion. Love when you bring it. We'll be back next week at 7 p.m. Central Time here on YouTube, X, Facebook. Just go ahead and bring it on. Bring on the passion. We love it. For Rob, thank you to Rob Brown also for joining me as well. It's been great. Have a good night. God bless. As I always like to say, if you're not a Gator, you're primed to be Gator bait. Good night, everybody, and God bless. If this will work.
Thanks for joining Joe Fulford on Half Full and a Cup of Joe. Don't forget to tune in next time for more football talk, analysis, and fun. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Half Full and a Cup of Joe. And remember, always keep your cup half full and your team spirit full. See you next time. Thanks for joining Joe Fulford on Half Full and a Cup of Joe. Don't forget to tune in next time for more football talk, analysis, and fun. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on all things Half Full and a Cup of Joe. And remember, always keep your cup half full and your team spirit full. See you next time.